Hey guys, welcome to JMAB's Juicy Journey. So in this episode, we're going to talk about Jay Inslee's new lockdowns, or as I like to call him, Jay Crow. Our new Jay Crow Washington laws that we have to abide by. Not everyone, not the rich, just us, the normal people, or the politicians, just us. So we'll go through that a little bit, and we'll also talk about some of the Trump Biden events that are going on, as well as some of the Great Reset from the World Economic Forum, which is real and is coming. Their goal, of course, by 2030 is to have us devoid of property and privacy for the betterment of the globe or mankind. Essentially, it's just a ruse by our corporate elite and global elite in general to create a new neo-serfdom or feudalism globally. So you have a permanent class of individuals who are unable to get out of that, and a very small top half that has all the wealth and power. So really looking to make sure we avoid that. We'll see how it goes. But anyways, hope you guys enjoy. As Washington goes into another lockdown here in the next several days, one thing that Jay Inslee's been really hammering on is the death rate and also the hospitalization in terms of capacity. So what we know in terms of facts are that if you take total cases and total deaths, the death rate in Washington state is 1.9%, which is much higher than the survival rate you hear of 99.8%, right? For your average healthy individual. And so I was really kind of wondering about that statistic. And what I found was that's really not an accurate way to take over the entirety of this disease, because we've learned a lot. We've come down the curve in terms of treatment to prevent death. And so when you actually look at the last 7 days as a rolling average, and these are CDC statistics, it has new cases per day going from November 7th to November 14th, 1,216, 1,288, 1,317, 1,429, 1,219, 1,544, and 1,309, and then on the 14th, 2,233. And then you look at the deaths per day. On the 7th, it's 11, and then 11, 12, 12, 10, 11, 12, and on the 14th, 12. So when you do the basic math and you divide that out, what you actually get is a death rate that is far lower. The average, if you take all of those numbers over the 7-day rolling average, comes out to 0.76%. So really, it's what they are advertising as the 1.9% death rate is more than double what the actual death rate is currently. Yes, if you go from the very beginning in time when we knew nothing about this disease or how to treat it, how it spread, then yes, it's 1.9%. If you want to factor in human knowledge and coming down the learning curve in terms of having better performance in terms of treatment, then you're looking at a much lower for Washington state death rate. So 7-day rolling average from November 7th to the 14th, survivability or death rate 0.76% by CDC's numbers. So, it really just goes back to how do you want to look at those numbers, right? How do you, what metric do you want to go by? For me, when it comes to a disease, you have to take learning into account when you're talking about what is our projected death rate going to be. If you're going to use the cumulative from when it first started and then use that as your basis to project upward, you're of course going to be able to skew those numbers much higher than they're going to be. And I believe that's what's gone on here, essentially. Jay's cherry picking data so he can essentially close down the economy again right at Christmas time, which, when you think about it, who gets impacted the most with 25% capacity in retail stores, closing down essentially the service industry in our state for another 4 to 8 weeks. Let's be honest, it's going to be 8. it's the death knell to medium and small size companies. And it's really more of a drive to push us into e-commerce and away from independently owned businesses. Amazon, Walmart, all these places have had record profits during the COVID outbreak. And that is something that there's much interest in continuing. And if you look at the World Economic Forum with their Great Reset proposal, what they're looking to do essentially is to reformat capitalism, take away private ownership of property and commercial interests, so that essentially a few lone individuals would actually own anything. Think of the global elite on a global level. This is not just the United States. And really what you get into is a neo-feudalism. We'll have devices that track everywhere we go, everything we're doing. And if you then factor in a UBI or something like that, if we're still not able to work, then you have a very small pool of individuals that are essentially able to control our destiny or our livelihood. And especially with the looming mass mortgage failures, people who are going to lose their homes, there's going to be a big outcry for someone to come in and give them hope or give them a resolve. And if they can't work, that's going to take the form of a government assistance or a government program where they may no longer own their home, but they're allowed to stay there. And that's really the future that I believe people like Jay Inslee and other politicians and our global elite in general want. They want us to not own property. They want us to not have privacy, and they want us to be okay with that and comfortable. And, that's definitely not a road I'm willing to go down. I don't think anyone should. It's crazy to me. And this lockdown, again, is just being used to, again, break the back of small and medium-sized independently owned businesses. Large corporations are not getting hurt during these lockdowns. In fact, their bottom line is skyrocketing. So what can you do? What are the options available to us? Well, one, of course, shop locally as much as possible. And I don't mean at Walmart or Cabela's or big retail stores, but your mom and pop stores. That's really the only option we have. They're going to be down to 25% capacity, and that's going to be really tough for them. You look at a lot of working families, a lot of people in the service industry, a lot of single mothers who are now unable to work legally, unable to work in their field, in their chosen field or their career. And, to me, that's not all right. There's people I know who are financially strapped, and now right when they were kind of getting back on their feet, we're having another unnecessary lockdown with inflated figures in terms of what the actual death count is. And until we rise up and start a true resistance, you talk about this resistance to Trump. My God, the guy didn't do nearly any close to what these liberal governors have done in their states. They've gone power mad. They're taking rights away left and right, freedoms. And until people push back and just say, this is not going to fly, and on a massive level, on a very direct level, I think they're going to continue with this abuse. Why would they give it up? You think about every great thing that's happened or every massive event in American history, right? You go back to World War II, post-World War II, you get the military-industrial complex. Fast forward to 9/11. After that, we got the Patriot Act, and then that evolved into a number of programs that Edward Snowden and Julian Assange and other people have exposed the world and Americans to, the fact that essentially our own government spies on us. And so you can see that these things grow because the Patriot Act hasn't gone away after 9/11, correct? Our data is still being collected. We're still under massive surveillance. And I'm guessing there's going to be another major federal program that comes out of this. Remember, after the Patriot Act, we got the Home Department of Homeland Security and a slew of other government agencies. And I think we're going to get something similar to that in terms of contact tracing, surveillance in terms of your health, where you're at. And, people are going to accept this. I'm sure the bill will be beautifully crafted in terms of its name. And we had the CARES Act that came through for big corporations who got a huge amount of money. I mean, yes, some Main Street did as well, but not to the degree corporate America did. And I think we're going to see something come through pretty early if Biden takes office here that'll really work to perpetuate this madness that we're essentially living in, and more surveillance, more intrusion into our lives, less privacy, less freedoms, less rights. And that's the direction we're heading in, and unless we want to stand up and do something about it. And that's the challenge, is how do we organize, right? Online, you'll get censored, right, by Twitter. You can get shut down. Or, if you try to communicate with other individuals, it's almost like some sort of COVID fear porn that you're out there trying to destroy and kill people, when that's not the truth at all. Are masks effective? Science is out on that. But I'll wear a mask. I wear masks because I want other people to feel comfortable. And, individuals who don't feel comfortable coming outside or being around others, they should stay home. They should. And they should have the choice to do that. But us adults, just like Gavin Newsom in California, who went to his, his political advisor's birthday party with over a dozen people from multiple homes, when he himself had issued rules expressly against that conduct. You have to remember, there's people living by the rules that, us plebes have to live under, and then there's everyone else. And until we wake up and go, wait, why are they get to live life by a different set of rules than we are, then we're essentially just going to be stuck in this. Because the next round is the vaccine coming through, where you'll be forced to take it, right? You'll have to have an app on your phone that says if you had taken it or you haven't. And you'll have to have that to get in anywhere, to do business. And, I don't know with our Supreme Court, with John Roberts and just how kind of flaky he is, I don't know if we're going to have an institution that stands up and says, no, you're not going to be able to track people's medical information and have to show that to businesses and government organizations like that, or airlines, or airports, boats for cruises, to participate in commerce. And to me, it's a big step too far. But I mean, that's where we're going. For sure, that's where we're going. That'll probably be coming here in the next several months. There'll be a big push to take this vaccine, which has really bad side effects. So if you look at the first shot, second shot, reactions, first shot, you get a lot of shivers, fatigue. Now the second shot, the booster, there's people who have reported full-on COVID symptoms. So you have to ask yourself, if you're a young, healthy individual, is it really necessary to take this vaccine? I don't think it is. I mean, I'm fairly certain I've had COVID. I've known a lot of people who've had it. They were down for a day or two and back at it. If you're, like I said, a healthy individual, take your vitamin C, take your vitamin D, iron, zinc, all that good stuff, work out, you're going to get through it. 99.5% of the time, which to me is a pretty strong percentage in terms of risk avoidance. So I'm comfortable with that. And then when it comes to the current events with the presidency, wow, it's kind of interesting that, again, I just have to reiterate, Gore back in 2000 took 39 days to concede, and the media wasn't pressuring him, nothing like that. Trump is going through the process. That's all this is. It's a process. No state has certified their votes yet. The media and the Democratic Party are saying it's over, nothing to look at, show's done. Why isn't Trump conceding and blah, 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 blah. Well, he doesn't. Why would he? He has legal recourse available to him, and he's going to follow it. It's Trump. He's the master of suing. He's going to sue all these states, And that's his right, and he should. If he wants to validate this election was done without fraud. Now, every election has some degree of voter fraud. It's an imperfect system. There's going to be some. But what I'm looking for is something that tips the scale. I've seen a few instances where 500-600 ballots, mostly for Biden, are overturned, and that kind of gives Trump a little bump. But I haven't seen fraud at the level yet within some of the key states. So we're looking at Pennsylvania, Georgia, and then, of course, Arizona, which would be the three you'd need to flip, essentially. Maybe Wisconsin or something like that. But other than that, it's going to be what it is. But like I was saying, though, it's interesting that the media is so quickly just jumping behind this. It's over. There's nothing to question, nothing to look at here. Let's move on. And anyone who's even saying, whoa, let's follow the process. If there's some irregularities, let's look into that. And it's like, well, why would you do that? You're hurting democracy by questioning things. And that's not the right way to do this. The media at large and the Democratic Party spent 4 years undermining Trump in terms of him being an illegitimate president, the Russian collusion hoax, all these different things going on. And two things. One, these same groups are now going, wait a minute, why do 70% of people on the right not believe the election results? Well, you really only have yourself to blame. You can't undermine a system for 4 years and then turn around after you've switched from traditional in-person voting to a mail-in voting system in states where they've never really done it at that scale, and then go, oh, it's over, guys. There's nothing here. Totally appropriate, all legitimate, and let's turn off the lights and we'll see you in 4 years. It's not going to work that way. I believe that the one of the legacies out of this election is going to be more mistrust of our electoral system, because a lot of people just don't believe the results. They're going to say, no, this is bullshit. And why should they not? I mean, we had that, in going around mass media for 4 years. None of it was ever proven, but, it didn't stop them. And now it's kind of interesting, on Twitter, you had the Steele dossier going around. You had all this information around the Russia hoax. There were no labels on that. It just went everywhere. Oh, true, false, who knows? It's your decision. Now, when it comes to this election, you get everything is labeled. Oh, there's little warnings. Election's been called. This is not a right statement. Official sources of saying something else about this position. And to me, that is total bullshit. You can't have it both ways. You can't say, hey, when it's our guy or whatever, hey, no problem. It's all good, guys. We're here now. And then when it's the other side, go, oh, we're just going to resist for 4 years, because that's all you're going to get now. There's going to be a huge chunk in this country that says Biden's an illegitimate president. They'll never believe he was illegally elected. And you're going to have to live with that shit. Like, that's just how it's going to be for a long time to come, until we have more transparency in our system. And I don't see it going back to a more trustworthy process, right? It's going to be gamed for a long time to come, because both parties have a lot of vested interest in gaming that process and system for their benefit. So, I mean, that's just how it's going to be. I had a beautiful Friendsgiving the other day. Really enjoyed it. I haven't seen a lot of people in person in a long time. And so this weekend I got an opportunity to go actually have an in-person Friendsgiving, a dozen or so people. Gavin Newsom style, so totally appropriate, right? Just modeling what our leaders' actions are. And my God, juking and jiving, joking, conversation, it felt so good. I felt alive. And I think that's really what we've been missing over these last few months, is really just engaging with people. Everyone's been fighting, tearing at each other. And I think during Thanksgiving and Christmas, what we should do is really double down and make a commitment to spend time with friends and family and really just engage with one another. Build those relationships, because you let those go stale, and it's hard to get them back over time. People get new interests, they move on. But for someone like me who loves to be around people, it was so motivating and thrilling to just engage with people again. And I really look forward to it. So, I'll be doing Thanksgiving this year, a Christmas, probably a white elephant as well. And we have the Sugar Ray Lewis and the Mike Tyson fight at the end of November. So definitely we'll be doing a pay-per-view for that and inviting people over. And that's really what it comes down to. Like I've said before, there's individuals who are going to, stay inside, follow the guidelines that are communicated to them from their government. And hey, that's great. But we're Americans. We don't listen to our government. You listen to individuals, citizens, right? Experts, whoever it may be. And then you as an individual make up your mind. That's freedom. That's what independence is. That's what it is to be an adult. And that's how I'm going to live my life. It's not about hurting people or anything like that. All it's about is making decisions that are the best for me and my family. And that's the way I'm going to go about this holiday season. So, make sure to be merry, have fun. Not everything's got to be bad. I don't think. It should be fun. Yeah. Life is meant to live. It's meant to be fun. Enjoy it. Engage. You might get something out of that, But anyways, I hope you guys have fun this week. Make sure to exercise, like I said. Good sleep. I know some of you out there are barely getting to that gym in your house 3 days a week, and you have a goal of 5. Kill it. Make the plan. No excuses. 5 days a week. Do it. And for those of you who just lost your gym access, thanks to thanks to J. Crow and our J. Crow Washington policies, I always say sit-ups, push-ups, squats are free. You can go run outside, walk, maintain that exercise, because that's really what's going to keep your immune system strong through this holiday season. And that's what we all need. Let's stay strong, stay happy, stay merry. Yeah, and we'll get through this. We'll kick ass. We'll be on the other side. Look back, maybe bag these stupid-ass politicians, put them on a boat, send them out to sea, sink it, all the good stuff. Anyways, peace, love, adios.